One.
So we just received our Simonton windows, which was promised to be delivered in 4 weeks and actually took over 2.5 months. And I'd say that the quality on these is very poor. So, I mean, if you look here, I mean, in terms of the quality here, the framing already has these blue light marks, things that don't come off here. Also, if you look here in the corners, this is really showing a poor sign of poor quality. It's difficult to notice here, but the framing edges is off when you compare the vertical versus the horizontal here. And then if you kind of come across, you actually see more of the same issue now. Also, this one, you know, is a little bit more difficult to see in this video here, but the framing is not level here compared to this. And if you also look down here, now this one actually has a smoother version. This is kind of probably closer to what we expect here. But while we're here, if you just look inside, we'll notice that this interior framing unit is off here. And if you kind of continue to go in a clockwise manner here, this framing, this one actually feels the smoothest of the four that we have so far. But if we look inside the inside window, this framing here is slightly offset versus for the vertical versus the horizontal quality here. Also, you know, this is our bedroom. This is one that we designed to have a quick entrance and access. And also notice that, you know, the opening for this window is quite a bit of a challenge. So now it takes a bit of exertion just to be able to open it here. But when you close it, you have to put a sizable amount of pressure on it to push it down and make it latch into place here. So, you know, if you just kind of go soft, you have to kind of go with a lot more force, which is actually, you see, is actually bending. You also have to bend the frame just to make it work here. Also, one thing we'll notice is that it was delivered cracked. And then, since this is our bedroom, this is the only entrance and access point for security reasons. One of the reasons we chose the windows because it's supposed to have an easy entrance and access point. But getting these things unlatched here for access is, you notice, there's quite a bit of a challenge here. So you have to do quite a bit of work just to kind of be able to open these to be able to use this as a quick exit. And also, if you notice here, the frame of this felt framing is also showing signs of being completely worn. It's kind of come across here. There's this frame, the quality is not very good. And also, this gives you a better look at the unevenness of the framing here in this corner. And also, if we go across, we have the same, same example. Now, if we take a look now, that's the first of the 4 windows. And notice, it's all this give and play just to be able to close a window and latch it in place. So if we go to another window, we actually see the same kind of lack of quality here. So you go from the counterclockwise here, we kind of notice that the framing is uneven. And also even some of this welding, whatever gluing process is uneven here as well. This one is actually pretty smooth, probably meets your standards. But also over here, you're back to kind of having that uneven framing, uneven welding. So now also, when we try to open this one, you see you have to put quite a bit of pressure on it. And also, if you just listen for the quiet, to be able to close this quietly here. And also you have to notice the amount of pressure you have to put on it just to kind of close it and latch it here. And then also, when we remove the framing, now this one actually is kind of smooth here. This one actually seems like it's largely well, but this one right here is offset. The framing, the vertical versus the horizontal framing is offset. A little less so here, but still, you notice the lack of the quality. Then also, if you look on these inside weldings, the attention to detail to these for what's supposed to be a premium product is very poor here. It's actually below kind of a budget level window carrier. Actually, that one kind of latched for the first time. Now, if we move over to this third window, we continue to see the poor, the unevenness here, and so at the corners. It's almost like this frame actually was delivered with it being offset, even though it looks even when you put a level to it here. But now also when we open this one, No, you still have to put a bit of pressure on it here. And one other thing before, you have to put a bit of pressure to open it here. But you also notice when you try to close it, you can, this here, and then you still have to put sizable pressure on it to get it to close and latch. Now, another thing we notice here is that, all of these have come with scratches in the corners here. So, I mean, it's just, and then when we try to open it here, oh yes, you can clearly see the horizontal versus the vertical framing is uneven. This is just really disappointing quality here. You can see it also here on and you also once again look at the felting as you go along. You notice that it's showing it's worn. So I don't see how this window is going to be able to hold up in terms of weather stripping and weatherproofing, especially with a quality product here like Simonton here. Again, you have to put pressure on it just to keep it closed. And even when you close, you notice the give and play here on this framing. And then our fourth one for our kitchen window, which is like supposed to be the design window place with kind of a pride and joy. You can really start to also see the same attention to details in terms of the weldings around the corners. Also, you see an extra piece of almost like, it's like caulked inside here. And this one is bent right here. It's kind of hard to see, but this framing is already bent. Again, this was just put in less than 3 hours ago. So we can't say it was a contractor's error here or an owner's error. Now, in addition, when we try to open the window, again, it takes a considerable amount of pressure just to unlatch it now, and then be able to open it up here. And that's the maximum that it goes to open and close. But then once you try to put pressure on to close it, you notice you have to put substantial pressure on it to keep it, to get it to close here. And then once again, when you look inside the framing, still the same attention to detail. You can clearly notice these uneven corners all around. As you go around, if you also notice the felting is of a very poor quality, less than the builder's grade in terms of this felting quality. Actually closed here the first time. But you notice the give it takes here on these windows. So, I've been an insurance agent for 13 years. I teach insurance law and theory and sales here for a major insurer here. And I've insured thousands of homes. And so I've seen all the terms of different types of windows and quality. And I'd say for a high value product here, this one really doesn't meet the expectations. So Simonton, I would hope that you would do better here to address some of the quality concerns for what are brand new, high quality, high value, high price windows at Home Depot.